Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. To begin with, I want to talk about the type of calendar that the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ left with the Muslim community before it was changed to the strictly lunar calendar in Omar's calendar reform in the year 17 of the Hijra, or 638 of the Common Era. The type of calendar that Muhammad left is what's called a lunisolar calendar. It's a calendar in which the cycles of the moon and the cycles of the sun are both used to determine when the year starts. To explain it, I want to talk about what a solar year is, what a lunar month is, and how long they are. A solar year is the Earth going around the sun one time, and that takes 365.24219 days. As the Earth goes around the sun, it is also rotating one time every day. We see the sun rising in the east and setting in the west as the Earth rotates. The Earth is rotating on its axis, North Pole to South Pole, but it's not rotating straight up and down with respect to the sun. It's rotating at an angle towards the sun. This is what gives us seasons. Because the Earth is tilted with respect to the sun, there are times of year when the North Pole is facing towards the sun, and there are times of year when the North Pole is facing away from the sun. At the time of year when the North Pole is facing towards the sun, then it's summer in the northern hemisphere and it's winter in the southern hemisphere. At the other side of the year, the North Pole is facing away from the sun, and that means it's winter in the northern hemisphere and summer in the southern hemisphere. Not only is the weather different, the lengths of daytime and nighttime are different. When the North Pole is facing the sun, days are much longer in the north and shorter in the south. Then as the Earth goes around the sun, the days get shorter in the north and longer in the south until there's a point where they're equal. And then it keeps going around until finally the North Pole is away from the sun and the days are short in the north and long in the south. And then it keeps going around until they're equal, and so on. The Qur'an talks about the differences in day length in several verses, but one that I will cite is in Surat Fatr, Surah 35, verse 13, which says, and this is translation by M.H. Shakir and adaptation of the translation by Maulana Muhammad Ali. So Surah 35, verse 13 says, He causes the night to enter in upon the day, and causes the day to enter in upon the night. And he has made subservient to you the sun and the moon. Each one moves to an appointed time. This is Allah, your Lord. His is the kingdom. And those whom you call upon besides him do not control a straw. It is describing there the entering in of the day upon the night and the entering in of the night upon the day. This is the fact that as the year passes, the hours of the night gradually encroach upon the daytime, until you get to the point where it is the longest night and the shortest day of the year. And then, progressively, the hours of the day encroach upon the nighttime, until they get to the point where it's the longest day of the year. That happens in a cycle, over and over again, and that cycle is the solar cycle. On the way from the longest day to the shortest day, there's a point where the North Pole and the South Pole are both facing equally away from the sun, and the lengths of daytime and nighttime are most nearly equal all over the planet, and those are called the equinoxes. Over the course of the solar year, the Earth experiences a summer, autumn equinox, winter, spring equinox, and summer again.